The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with the lovely, the talented, the one and only Suzanne Bandick. Today, we are going to talk about, we're going to try not to get sued by Nike and talking about just doing it, just freaking doing it. And I'm really excited about this because I think there's two extremes to this, and I don't think Suzanne, and I'm one of them, and Suzanne ain't. So we're gonna get, and she gets to talk to everybody. There's the me. I've thought about it for 9 seconds. Why shouldn't we just be half done? I'm already halfway to the end of it, and then I lose interest and find something shiny, which has its strengths and has its weaknesses. And there's other people that are like, whoa, just slow your roll. I'm gonna have to. My least favorite thing is think about it, which if it really meant think about it and go through some process that was helpful, God, it never means that. It means I'm too afraid to do anything. So I'm going to do nothing and tell myself I'm going to think about it. But truthfully, I'm not going to think about nothing. And I'm just going to go back to everything the way it is. So I'm dying as a, because I know it's going to be great for you, Cleaning Nation, and as a person who loves learning, to just kind of sit at the virtual feet of, we're really going to be head to head here on the video, but at the virtual feet of Suzanne and hear what she has to say about just doing it, the mindset behind that, and how it affects our business success or lack thereof. Talk to us.
All righty. So, the thing that you need to do to make your business better, to make it stronger, to make it more profitable, but you've put off doing it because it's uncomfortable. That thing, I would like everybody to stop the recording for a minute and decide what that is for you. Okay? Because this is going to make this podcast a whole lot more worthwhile if you insert whatever it is that you've been putting off.
And if you're having trouble coming up with that, I'll give you a hint. It's probably something you're not good at or you don't think you're good at. It's probably, I shouldn't say probably, I'll just give you some ideas that could be to get the juices flowing. Could be something you tried before and didn't get the result that you want. So you just, I don't say given up, but put it way off. It could be something that you're afraid of, or more likely it's outside of your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable, if not flat out afraid. If it's something you love doing, I love doing Facebook ads, but I've done 1,000 of them and they're not working. It's like, well, you're in the wrong track. It's probably, that may not be what you need. It's what you wish you needed, but what you really need is probably something a little out of your comfort zone. Okay. Hopefully that got some juices flowing and you've unpaused. Continue, lovely Suzanne.
Awesome. Okay. So at this point, realize not doing it. What is it costing you? Not doing it. Are you feeling a drain on your energy? Not doing it. Are you feeling stressed every single day? Not doing it. Are you becoming anxious? There's a cost to not doing. And I think that's one of the first things that we should recognize. We don't have to live in that world of always feeling stressed and anxious and overwhelmed. We can change that. So now, if you're willing to change that, I'm going to give everybody a really great mindset thought here. And that is the $1 million business people, the people who have $1 million businesses, just do it. Okay? Letting that sink in for a minute. They don't drag things out. And here I'd like to give a scenario, and then Mike, you and I can go through it. Scenario number 1, the average business owner gets up, has things he knows he or she needs to do, and successfully procrastinates doing it for yet another day. And that takes its toll. And that's probably pretty average. It's probably what most of us do. Now, let's take scenario number 2, the $1 million business owner. They get up in the morning, They know they have to do something. They know it's not easy. They know it's not comfortable, but they have a very big goal and a very big knowing of where they're going. So they just do it. They get it done. 5 days later, chances are the $1 million business owner has done 5 different things. 5 days of doing the things he wasn't comfortable doing because he or she knew that they needed to do them. Our first business owner in scenario 1 is still stewing about how to do the first thing. Questions, comments?
I have thoughts.
Mike is totally silent.
Yeah, it would never happen. So enjoy while it lasts, kids. So I have 2 thoughts. Well, a story and a thought. The story is when I still can picture it. Last time I spoke at ISSA, I like to be punctual, and I got there, 2 or 3 hours earlier just to check the floor out and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't realize how much stress it was to not be able to speak, but having to speak. So I couldn't enjoy conversations or whatever, because I'm like, I've got this thing that I've got to do, but I can't make it go any faster. So the 2 or 3 hours leading up to it, and there's friends around that I'd seen and clients, any other time it would have been very enjoyable. But I had this thing that I really couldn't enjoy anything. Like if I'm talking with Suzanne, I love Suzanne. I don't get to see her often. Typically I'd be very present, but I can't be because I'm already thinking about this thing. So the right answer, we'll just go do it. I'm like, well, like a dummy, I showed up 3 hours early. The time starts when it starts, right? And then the pain and suffering I put myself through was those 3 hours, 10x. The pain, well, as soon as I got on stage and started doing, I was in my flow. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was fantastic. But the 3 hours leading up to it, not good. And if you're too dumb to show up when you show up and you can't change when you speak, well, then that's just the pain. I don't know how I could have avoided other than not showing up so early. For you, there isn't a set time you step on stage. You can have that conversation or do that thing anytime that you like. So we put that conversation with an employee that he needs to go or she needs to go, or the customer that you need to raise a price on, or boundaries you need to set with your spouse, whatever the case may be. We can wait and wait and wait. And it's literally doing the thing when you're actually having that conversation with the customer. It's not painful at all. You're in the moment, you're doing it. But up until doing it, you're super stressed out. And then afterwards, whether it went well or poorly, you might still have some of that stress, but a ton of relief. Whereas before you've done it, there's a little book called What Cops Know that's great. Talks about it's just an interesting book. Talks about when they arrest somebody and they go into the cell and the guy's sleeping, they know he's guilty, like 100% of the time. And you're like, what does that have to do with anything? He goes, because we found if you're an innocent person and you are in jail for committing a murder, you are freaked out. You are the last thing you're going to do is sleep. This is insane to you. But the guilty guy's been running for months. He knows he's guilty. He knows he did it. He's half glad he got caught because he just can't live this life anymore. It's like, finally, this is the best night's sleep I've ever gotten because I can have that off of me, right? So more to the story, murder. No, more of the story. Don't make it worse on yourself. So that was my story. Here's my thought. And then I'll turn it back to Suzanne. We've been focusing in more on really getting that first step of 100,000 in profit, working 10 hours a week. And as I've been doing that, I wrote down, like, what do we actually have to do? Like, what are the physical things? I've been putting times by it, like over the, I think we work with our client. At this point, we work with our clients 9 weeks. Might go up to 10. We're not sure. Might go down to 8. We don't know. But either way, in that give or take 2 month span, I added all the stuff they had to do about how, and I was generous on the times, not like, oh, if you were perfect and like, if you whatever. It was over 2 months, less than 60 hours. Literally less than 60 hours to go from in that 2 months working less than 10 hours a week. It takes a little longer for the 100,000 to, you have to continue doing it over and over for months, or let your company continue doing it. So there's some time, but to get to the 10 hours a week, and then you just have to wait literally 60 hours. And there's people that have been working for a year, 5 years, 10 years. So if you think about 50 work weeks in a year, 40 hours each, that's 2,000 hours a year. If you're just working 40 hours a week, give or take. 10% of that would be 200 hours. 3% would be 60. Literally 60 hours. And people think it's hundreds, it's thousands. It's not. It's just that procrastination. All right. Sorry. There you go. Back to you.
Just saying that, it brought me down. It makes me sad.
I bummed her out. I'm so sorry. So I did that. If I did it to my friend
Okay,
Suzanne,
okay, let me elaborate on this. And I hope that all of our listeners feel this. The sadness of not getting things done, the sadness of wasted time, the sadness of the stress and the depression that this not only you're not doing something causes not only you, but I guarantee it has ramifications to your employees, to your family, to your friends, because you're feeling this inside. You're feeling stressed and you can never hide that. And let's look at the doing. I'm not saying it's easy to do it. It's a mindset to practice saying, let me just do it. I feel scared to do it, but let me just do it. Once you've done it without the days of making this worse, making this bigger than it is, because now you've been thinking about it for so long, if we can just, and I've been guilty of it myself, okay? I always talk from what I know, personal experience. If we can just get it done and do it, the feeling after is like I could climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I can do anything. So going back to the $1 million business owner that gets up in the morning and doesn't want to do it, but he does it. Do you think that his feeling of success is going up every single time he accomplishes something and he does it? Yes. And that's how he's able to do more and do it more often and just do it without stewing about it.
You're so spot on. Go ahead. I was just agreeing.
It's a muscle that builds, folks. That's what I want to say.
Real quick, Cleaning Nation, if you can think about how you found out about this podcast, maybe a tweet, a Facebook message, iTunes search, some sort of Instagram post, the only way we grow is word of mouth. We don't do paid ads. We don't run ads. You are it. The only ask I have is if you're getting value, share the love. However you found out about this, if it's a review or post, whatever it is, do that. Pay it forward so the next cleaning company owner can change their life as well. Back to the show. So one of the most heartbreaking things I see of the people we work with, and this is why we're in business, is if you are currently working 60 hours a week and making $50,000, the cost of not knowing how to make $100,000 in 10 hours a week is, I mean, depending on how much you value your time, certainly $40,000 a year. So $500,000 over 10 years. And, my time, I would imagine you'd value your time even more than that. So, upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the cost of not knowing that is high, right? And that's why we love coaching. But here's the heartbreaking part. What if you know it and don't do it? It's one thing if you don't know it, but if you're just like, I don't know, it's like, all right, get some coaching, I get it, fine. Well, you get it, but your own cost of, I know what to do. I would rather stew in this thing. It's like being in a bad relationship with your business, right? I know I should break up and I know whatever, but I'm comfortable with the devil I know. And that's scarier than the devil I don't. And it's sad to see drugs, alcohol, bad relationship, bad business, where we're just like, I know it's miserable, but at least I know this misery, and that other misery is foreign. And then we wait until it's absolutely like, okay, I don't care what the price is. I'll do anything, which is fine. Better that than never. But why? You could go on stage today. You don't have to wait till 3 hours. Go.
Ooh. Let's think about this. Okay, that just it's Mike, what you just said brings up in my mind habit. We have a habitual way of doing things. So I know listeners are going to say, but Suzanne, you don't understand. I don't do anything quickly. I need to look at all my options. I need to look at all the data. I need to take my time. I never do anything quickly. That is a habit. My question to you is, does it serve you? Is it time to change the habitual behavior? Is it time to identify as the $1 million business owner rather than who you have been identifying with?
so frustrating when people they get caught up in that very thing, Suzanne. Well, you don't understand. I got to think, I got to this, I got to whatever. It's like, how's that been working for you? That's gotten you where you're at. And if you want, and it's so weird. This is where I struggle, and I would love your help, Suzanne. They get in their head, right? And I feel like I'm a logical person. So I'm like, are you getting life that you want? No. Are you 1,000% committed to something different? Yes. Okay, do this thing. Well, that's not how I do it. Well, I understand. That's, if you keep doing it the way you've been doing it, you'll keep getting what you've been getting. Right. So they go, I'd like very different results, but I don't want to do anything differently, or certainly not anything scarier out of my comfort zone. And being decisive is a big deal with business owners. I mean, do the research. Successful people, far more decisive than unsuccessful people. They make decisions faster. They're less likely to change them. And when they make a decision that creates a result that they don't like, they fix it by making another decision. But yet you go, I've got to think about it. I've got to go slow. I've got to whatever. And it's like, that's our monkey brain, right? When there was like, dinosaurs chasing us, we had to be cautious like that. But yeah, it's heartbreaking. How do we get people from their head to their heart? I think they get it up here, but when it comes to actually doing it, they don't take the action.
Well, I think the simple question is, are you ready to change your thinking? Are you ready to change the results you're getting? And that's not going to be yes for everybody.
And if you say you are, but you're not willing to do anything differently, I don't know that you are, right? Like, I'm going to stop drinking, Suzanne. It's hurting my wife and my son and whatever. Okay, great. I need you to stop. I need you to delete these people from your phone. I need you to start exercising. No, I'm not willing to do any of those things. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is you'd really like it magically to happen, but if there's any cost on your end, then you're committed to comfort, and drinking is comfort. And saying,
yes.
So
yes.
And again, I hate to
let's face it, we all are addicted to comfort.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So whatever we've been experiencing, we may say we don't like it. We may realize what it's doing to us, but it's comfortable because we know it.
So let's move forward where people are they're sold, so to speak. How do they just do it? What's the next step? How do we go forward here in this conversation?
You decide you're just going to do it.
And then
it's really, really, really as simple as that. And everyone, I want to point out Mike as the example. Mike is an excellent example. I see every single day that we work together, Mike, how quickly you make your decisions. And if something needs to change, you change it.
So let me devil's advocate, because and again, I'm so for decisive, but again, for me, and I got my weaknesses. I don't want anyone to think I'm got weaknesses.
Okay, I'll tell him. Mike's not perfect.
Suzanne's got a list.
I tell everybody Mike's not perfect, but there's some things he does really, really good.
So the decisive one's a good one, and I think that's probably where I'm a little weak helping others with it, because that is a natural strength of mine. So I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to do my best to play devil's advocate. So I love the decisive. So I think it's really the identity. I see myself as a decisive person. I see that it serves me. So it's very easy to have that. But I think other people see themselves as indecisive, or I got to think about it, or and by the way, I'm a Christian. I pray all the time, but the whole I'm going to pray about it, I think less than 1 in 100 people that say that really do that. And it's like, just don't use it as an excuse. Like, if you're really going to do something, and that's fine, but I just think, or they pray about it, but then they go do what they're going to do, or not do what they're going to do anyway. So don't make an excuse. I think about it. I talk to my dog, my psychologist, my God, my whatever, and that's all fine, but just don't fool yourself. So all that said, let me play the devil's advocate, because I'm pretty anchored in that. I love it. But I will say, like I said at the beginning, overwhelmingly, the decisiveness has been good, but it has also bit me in the butt. There have been, like, poor Jared, he's less decisive, and he's an employee, not an owner, and it's great for him, right? I think I drive him, and probably, if you guys, nuts, being too like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. So, and I'm into that. If I was not into that, how do you reconcile it's not all good, like overreachingly, yes, being decisive is absolutely going to be better. You'll make more money, you'll be more successful, you'll be happier, but you're going to break some eggs. It's not all upside. So how do we kind of put the upside in its proper position, and say, well, I'm going to take that into account, but I'm not going to continue living like this just because decisiveness sometimes does have some negative unintended consequences.
How about we start doing it and we figure it out along the way?
This is just do it. That's exactly right. Like, okay. And again, I've made many decisions that was so stupid, and I fixed it, made another decision, And sometimes that one made the first decision worse. You know how I fix that one? Yet another decision. It's like we're trying to steer a parked car when we don't make a decision or think about it. I'm going to slow. I got to da. At least if I drive something, I hit something, I'm like, now I know I'm going the wrong direction. But if I was just sitting there, nothing happens. I'll just sit there till I die.
Exactly. You can sit in your car, in your driveway. You can sit in your driveway and decide, oh, I could move. I could do this direction or this direction or this direction. But what if this is there and that's there and that's there, and work out all the computations of everything that could happen. And by then, an hour has gone by? Or you can just say, I will take this route. It's my best chosen option, and I will figure it out along the way. I will handle whatever comes. So, Mike, I wrote down, I choose to be decisive.
I decide to be decisive.
How about that is one simple affirmation for all of Cleaning Nation? If this is something that you choose you want to work on, if you say to yourself, I choose to be decisive, I am getting more decisive every day. I make my decisions more quickly. I'm more efficient or effective as a leader. Say whatever words that you decide you want to say, and then just go to work on it a step at a time every single day. It's practice. We're building the muscle, like going to work at the gym. You've said before, you go into a restaurant, you just pick what you're going to have on the menu. That is a decisive characteristic. That's a very small thing that everybody could start doing. Right? Pick what it is. Chocolate, vanilla. Which ice cream am I going to have? Darn it, I'm going to have chocolate. Pick it, choose it, and everything else gets easier along the way. And remember that every decisive action, every just do it moment leads you closer to your $1 million business and the life you want to lead.
I have nothing to add. That was so well said. Well done. Anything to add, or do you feel like we've
I think that's
said
complete.
What we need to say? All right. Cleaning Nation. God, that was really good. It's just tough because I feel like we said it as well as we can say it. And it's like, there's so many people are going to listen and not be different. So I want to leave one last plea, one last emphasis of, I don't know if it'd be number one. Number one, probably not giving up an unreasonable amount of, no matter what happens, I'm going to go till I die. But that can make you miserable because you just have 20 years of misery if you don't fix it, right? Decisive would probably be top 3, like committed, decisive, just that figure it out. I'll go, like, we'll just figure it out. I can't emphasize enough. And it's tough because everyone likes should I use Facebook ads or this, Indeed or this, and how should I write my hand? It's all really good stuff. But man, without that that thread throughout the tapestry of let's just go. I made a decision. Let's do it. It's so hard to just add so much power to everything else. And it sucks the power if you're not willing to do it. So I just can't encourage you enough. Listen to Suzanne. She's a genius. If you want more, growmycleaningcompany.com. Nothing for sale, but we have coaches. We're here to help. Reach out. Let us know if there's any way we can help you be more decisive, have the life that you want. The big thing is you don't need to live. The whole thing about being a business owner is you can't have the life that you want. You just have to decide to build it. If you need our help, let us know. growmycleaningcompany.com. Talk to you soon. Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend. Share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431, 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.